everyone, and welcome back. So I wanted to show you how I started to actually build out like the profile page, because I think that's a very interesting section as well. So when the user actually hits the home button, let's actually go to home right now. If they've hit this kind of profile picture, what will happen is they will go straight to the profile page. Now on this profile page, there's several different options we have. If there was a login CTA, if they weren't logged in, then they would actually go to sign up or log in depending on their scenario. But if they actually were logged in, they would come to this page. And what happens here is I've set up like a header that has like this kind of like overlay effect, kind of just giving a little more depth to the application. Now over here we have like a CTA. Now this header isn't one of the ones that we currently use within our components, and we can actually bring one in if we wanted to. So let's actually do that. What we're going to do is we're just going to create a duplicate over here, and I want to show you. So I found out that, while I was continuing to experiment and build out this application, I found out, hey, like this is an interesting component that I never necessarily thought about. But I think we could actually recreate this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to place this in here. So we have our component. Let's get that. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to actually fill some of this information in again. And I've been thinking a lot about what the style of back button is as well. Let's change that instance. So as you can tell, this is how I'm starting to use our design system. This is where you can tell it's really powerful. I don't have to like go and search for new icons. I know which ones I'm planning to use most of the time. I want to go back to my layers panel so I can see what I'm selecting. So I have a background white here, and I was using yellow. And there we go. So now we have like a different yellow background. You saw that I kind of had that effect going. So we can still recreate that if we wanted to. So we can create a frame that encompasses all of this. If I hold command and I stretch that frame, it's not going to stretch everything else. So if you see I'm not holding command and I'm stretching that frame, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it above there. I'm actually going to change that to 15. I'm going to change this to 15. And I'm going to make sure this background is white. So like we still get the same type of effect that we had before. Now we may need to do a couple of different things. That's going to be fine for now. What we can do is we can also set the background color of this actual frame to yellow. It's not going to make a difference because we have all these different options here. And this is kind of acting as our background color right now. So I'm going to just hide this border. And there you go. Like we have like another variation of a header. I like this kind of yellow that we've been using. So what I've decided thus far for the profile page is to have a profile picture. They can edit my profile, which would probably bring up a modal. But yet again, like we didn't necessarily think about all these different things and where they'll be placed. And once we start kind of piecing these things together, even at the high fidelity stage, we're noticing that, we even forgot some stuff while we're sketching. So I have like edit my profile over here. I thought about interest. What happens if I have no interest selected? Like I could hypothetically create an account and not have selected anything. So over here, as you can tell, I have like the same type of CTA that we've seen before. I'm going to go into my content. I've noticed that, hey, maybe we should create like a button with a little plus sign there. That makes much more sense. So add my interest would kind of push them to do that. Even edit. So I kind of have it as a secondary CTA, keeping just in line with the consistency. I have things like my payment information, my address. There's probably more cards that we could add here. And for the user to get back, they would just select that back button. Now, there's another section right here that is showcasing what happens if the user's actually logged in and they have all their interests set. So I haven't created like a frame to hold these yet, but this is like something where we may be using this particular card over and over again and in this same manner. So we may make like a frame. What we can do here is we can create like a column So I can just go and encompass it within a frame and call it left column. You can set that to auto layout, and it's going to be like 16, and it's going to grow and shrink based off of the sizes of the elements within. And I take this, and I'm going to call this right column. So now we have 2 frames, and then I'll also create an auto layout for that. And then we can actually take these together and encompass them in the frame and just call them color cards. 2 column. So now we've created another recipe over here that we could probably reuse. As you can see, now this will change based off of if we add new elements or not. So let's actually take that over here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to create an auto layout for that. So let's push that to the top. Oops. So we have our right column. Push to the top. So if we add, like, say, another text, image, and button component we have here, it'll start pushing all the other components down. Same with if I add another one over here. So let's see what we can do here for this. Okay, I'm going to remove that, and I'm just going to say something like vinyl. We notice that, we need to just bring that lower. We can change it to whatever color we want. Probably like maybe like an orange or something like that. If we were to do the same over here, let's go to the image selector that we have. There we have glasses. So you can kind of go back to the components and add new images if you want. So I have like a MacBook, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write productivity. So right now, Figma is not in a place to handle like auto layouts really well. Like the frames sometimes won't grow properly. Same with just regular frames and components, but it'll eventually get there. What I'm going to do actually is I am going to, like, maybe I will like create like green. If you see, like, I can like switch these around. I can like, if I use my arrow keys on the parent container, I can just switch these around. And that's the great thing about auto layout. You'll notice that, wow, that spacing looks really messed up. So I'm just going to have to manually do that. It honestly beats like recreating the wheel over and over again. And there you go. Like, we kind of have our own like Pinterest style stacking of cards. So that's what I've done here. I've started creating this, and this is like, obviously this can be a recipe that we now use over and over again. I have like another recipe that I had created before, which is like, having these little icon text containers. So what I can do is I can encompass these in a frame and create another kind of auto layout or something like that. But that is my approach so far for profile, and that's how you can use components if you need them here. You can also actually, like, if you wanted to say, let's make a duplicate of this, and you want to select this component. So I've selected that. I can go to my instance and I can see all the different related components to these color cards. So there's text, image, button, just text and image. So if I wanted just the text and the image, I can get that really easily. Everything's sized in really nicely. Same with this. If I wanted, say just, what do we got here? Text and button. I can get that really easily. I don't want this one because, maybe these are growing related parts. So I have text cards grow, I have color cards fixed, I have a text and button fixed version that we can create. So that is how you can use instances to, just really bring in more variety in your designs, but also just to get the correct component that you need really quickly without having to like copy and paste and stuff like that. So that is how we built out the profile page thus far.